Louis bezwang. Ladies and Gentlemen, hier kommt der Dragon, Kevin Munch! Die Aufgabe ist nicht einfach für Kevin Munch. Er tritt an gegen die Nummer 24 der Welt. 2017 gewann er sein einziges TV-Turnier bislang, das Auckland Masters aus Down Under. The original K.Anderson!
Final match of the afternoon session, day one of the German Darts Grand Prix, and it's a long overdue return to the European Tour stage for K.Anderson, making his first appearance on the Euro Tour in 2019. He also missed the final event of 2018 as well, and when you bear in mind the fact he was beaten in the first round in Riesa as well, perhaps he's long overdue a good run on the European Tour stage. He's certainly put one or two of those together in the past as well, and I for one really glad to see him back, and he's got a really intriguing encounter to look forward to today as well. He's up against one of the host nation qualifiers, Kevin Munch. Now, on the face of it, this looks like it should be a formality for Anderson. Munch, 9 appearances on the Euro Tour, 9 first round matches, 9 defeats. Now that doesn't read well in any language, but Kevin Munch is a man who has produced 1 or 2 notable upsets in his career. The biggest of the lot was at the World Championship in 2018 when he of course beat the 2-time Ali Pali champion Adrian Jackpot Lewis 3-1 in the first round. If he can reproduce that sort of performance, Paul Nicholson, he may well have a chance, but his Euro record...
First leg is Kevin to throw first. Game on.
Well, looking at the bright side for Kevin, this is the first time he's been on the Euro Tour in Germany for 2.5 years. Now, he qualified for a couple of events. He qualified for Graz last year in Austria, and in 2018 he also got to the Dutch Darts Masters
and the Dutch Darts Championship
of course. So he was good at qualifying for events outside of Germany, but now he's back in his home country. Maybe he's trending in the right direction, but trending is a very good segue, because Kyle has had a steady start to 2019, but he's waiting to pop. He needs a run that is better than anything else he's done. He needs to really shoot forward and do something that he hasn't done himself for nearly 3 years, which is make a semi-final on the Euro Tour.
Yeah, twice a quarter-finalist on the Euro Tour last year. Both of those were in Holland as well for Anderson.
40.
And also once in 2017 in Jena. But where is he now? 30th in the Pro Tour Order of Merit, 24th in the world rankings themselves.
Well, Kyle was playing fantastic in the World Championships, and then he got Aspinalled because that game with Nathan just put his foot on Kyle's throat and didn't take it off. Kyle is a very, very classy player. Looking at a good setup, which he has done. I think he was looking at the treble there, and he just flew out of his hand, that one.
Yeah, great chance for a break of throw here for K.Anderson.
135.
That has applied just a little bit of pressure, 56. But Anderson looking at 56. And he's now looking at Thompson. He's got 2 darts in hand for a break of throw in the very first leg, double 10. And Anderson does find a way through. Yeah, good form so far this year as well. I mentioned he hasn't made it into any of the Euro Tour events this year, but he has made 3 quarter-finals on the Pro Tour so far in 2019. He's also qualified for the German Open, which is coming up as well, so he's got that to look forward to.
What he's got to do, though, Rob, is he's got to make the most of this and next week, because he isn't going to be at Graz and he's not going to be at Sindelfingen. He hasn't qualified for those two events. So if he doesn't put his foot down in this event and next week in Saarbrücken, then he's going to be behind the 8 ball when it comes to qualifying for Göttingen, which is the venue for the European Championships later in the season.
96.
Well, we shouldn't forget as well that Anderson made the semi-finals at the European Championship a couple of years ago. He was beaten 11-10 by Michael van Gerwen, threw a 9-darter in that match
58.
and missed 2 match darts, but even though he walked away with a bonus of 25 grand on top of his regular prize money, it was not too much by way of a consolation, because he knows he was close to a major there.
I think he lost a lot more when he missed those 2 match darts. He would have gladly handed you that £25,000 if he'd have taken the spot in the final, because I reckon if he made the final, he was going to be in the Premier League. I think those 2 darts cost him the Premier League. Straight ton here, we'll leave him 32. Yeah, that's a beautiful rebound. It's almost like a basketball shot off the backboard into the net there. It's a beautiful dart from Kyle.
100. Kyle Uruguay 32.
Certainly more settled as well, Kyle Anderson. Those visa woes well and truly behind him now as well. He's very much a more established figure and very settled now in his stage of his life.
On the second leg,
what a beautiful dart that was. He couldn't have seen much more than maybe a quarter of that bed. The first flight was blocking the whole thing, and then he's blocked the bed with the guide dart and is not even flinched.
43.
What a beautiful, beautiful thrown dart that was. But I'll say one thing, in jest of course, now that Corey Cadby's back in Europe, the manager of those 2 lads, he must know everything about the visa system. He had it with Kyle, he had it with Cadby, now he must be on first name terms with the consulates.
Yeah, a revolving door at the Home Office for
43.
Well, given all the hard work that's been done.
Yeah, Kyle looks rhythmic, he looks fresh, he looks ready for this today. Saw him very briefly up in the practice area before this match began, and he looked relaxed as ever. And I think a lot of players really, really like this draw. 8th game in the afternoon. I think once you've got it in the bank, presuming that you win it, of course, you finish by 5 o'clock,
56.
do a couple of bits of press, get yourself on your way. It doesn't mess with your meal times, so you're not going out of your certain schedules. You eat breakfast at the right time, eat lunch at the right time. You can have dinner as soon as you're finished, and you can get yourself rested for the next day. I think the last game in the afternoon is the perfect draw.
Yeah, and Anderson as well has done a really good job of just silencing the crowd as well. These German fans have already witnessed defeats for Marco Puls and also for Jihan Artud as well. And on the evidence of what we're seeing so far, it could well be that Munch is casualty number 3.
He's fancying the 180s today because he's hit one to leave double 2.
Madhouse for Anderson.
No score.
And he can't find the keys to get out of it.
There's the reason why people don't do that. But it shouldn't be a problem. And it's not going to be, because Kevin cannot take the Barney shot, the 156.
60.
He's got to take this 4-pointer out now.
So for a second break of throw for Anderson. More like it. And he's halfway there.
Fourth leg, it's Kyle to throw
and
first.
He's also halfway to setting up a meeting tomorrow in the second round with the man who won the last European Tour event, Daryl Gurney, the champion in Hildesheim a few weeks ago.
Yeah, Daryl's having a bit of a Premier League headache at the minute, because him and Michael Smith have almost been cut adrift a little bit, so they're going to have to, you know, do what Peter Wright's got to do. They've almost got to go in to the last one perfect from here. And Sulevic really has given Daryl Gurney a headache, but I think coming back to the Euro Tour, where Daryl's had recent success, that will give him a little bit of respite from that pressure, and he can just focus on a ranked event. There is, of course, rankings pressure in the next couple of weeks. People like Johnny Clayton and Max Hopp, who are defending big money in Players' Championship or Pro Tour Order of Merit. Beg your pardon. Their seeding looks like it might be affected. So watch out for that. If you want exact stats.
Well, it changes so quickly. I mean, you look at the seedings here this week. I mean, the seedings here this week were based on the Pro Tour Order of Merit rankings from the middle of March. Now, Peter Wright is seeded 3 here this weekend, but he's now down to number 8 on the Pro Tour Order of Merit. Mensah, another one, seeded 4, but he's actually now down at number 10. Rob Cross down at number 9, even though he's seeded 5 here. It can change very quickly.
Well, Dave Chisnell's going to go in the other direction because he's won 2 titles.
And James Wade as well, given all he's done lately on the Pro Tour. I mean, what a few weeks he's had. It's incredible.
Absolutely. 3 out of 4 titles, but it's a 14 and bull for Kyle. Didn't even go near the treble. Love it. Didn't go anywhere near the bull.
Kevin Uruguay, 62.
Where's he gone there?
Double 10. Can he see enough of it? And Kevin Munch, monster munches that one for a little snack. And I don't know why he doesn't call himself monster, it just rolls off the tongue. But Kevin will be very much buoyed by that 62 checkout to give himself some sort of hope here.
85.
Had to really yank those darts out of the board there. He must have got a load of purchase on that visit.
I'll say one thing, Rob, it's beautiful outside of this arena. There's a lovely temperature of around about 21, 22 degrees Celsius. But in here, it's quite chilly. I noticed earlier that Josh Payne was rubbing his hands together to keep them warm. But I think this is almost perfect for darts because you're neither hot nor cold. You can just get on with it. There's been some good performances this afternoon, and I was very impressed with Karel Sedlacek.
Yeah, I mean, for the first 6 legs of that match, he was totally in control. Had that wobble. Again, it coincided with Portela eventually finding his feet and showing improvement, but had way too much in hand in the end. And, you know, a worthy winner, I feel. Relieved to get through, but yeah, I think Sedlacek certainly one of the standout performers of the day so far.
And what they wouldn't have seen at home was after he did his interview with Elmar, he came down the steps stage left and he was in the backstage area and he was actually jumping up and down with glee. He was so happy to win, and it was great to see.
Yeah, you can't see it. There's a fence separating the behind stage area and where the crowd are, and his team who's here is Entourage that's made the journey over from Prague. They can't actually get through, so he was just jumping up and down trying to just high-five them over the top of the fence.
Kyle will be staring at the bullseye
87
for this combo.
135.
25 leaves 60 bull. Nice guide. Just making sure he's hit that 25. Gets the 60. Right down the pipe.
94.
I think he checked with the referee because he has had some issues with his eyes in the last 12 months. Just wanted to be sure. It's treble 18 and bull for Kevin, but he doesn't get a shot at it.
56.
And so Anderson now
41.
for a break of throw for a 4-1 lead.
Might have to go left side here.
Yeah, on the fifth leg, Kyle Anderson.
Excellent conversion.
I
think that dart just flicked in the board a bit and covered a portion of that tops. And he did go left, but by about 1 millimetre.
Yeah, ever so slightly left, but good call, Paul.
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of equipment
43.
deviation for Kyle since he started using this kit. He did, around the world, tinker with a slightly shorter stem, but he has gone back to that regular sized stem, which has been so emphatic for him in his career. A career that has only got 1 Pro Tour win so far and 1 World Series title. I think there's a lot more to come from Kyle.
I was just going to ask the question. I mean, we talked about that run to the Euro Championship semi-finals, and that run itself came on the back of that really good summer when he He won that World Series event in Auckland and won his first PDC title as well that summer as well, or late that
100.
summer. And then people were starting to talk about Anderson. He mentioned the near miss as far as the Premier League was concerned as well. And people were starting to talk then about Anderson being, you know, part of the elite, sitting at the top table. It hasn't quite worked out for him so far.
Diogo still smiling.
Get back? Do you think he can get back to that sort of area where he can challenge?
Absolutely. I don't have any doubt when it comes to Kyle. I think he's got so much ability. He's in the driving seat in this match. And Kevin needs a 60. And if Kyle gets one in the first 2 darts, he's going to have a pop at tops. But we'll come back to that point in a second, because it's very important. Might go bull. Isn't gonna. What a dart from Kyle Anderson.
Tops.
100. Kevin Uguay, 71.
Not to be, so a chance here for Munch to break back.
He went 51 because he loves double 10. Double 18.
35.
He's feeling the pressure in this game as Kevin Munch. There's a little bit of sweat on the brow as well.
Yeah, very tense looking final dart that one, wasn't it? And it's double 5 for Anderson for 5-1, and it's all the 5s for Kyle.
Anderson.
And he's one away.
It's Kevin to throw first. Game on.
Kyle got himself very close to the seedings at one point. I think he's used to playing the qualifiers on Friday evenings when you go to the Pro Tour events. But to go back to what you were saying, I think
43.
Kyle has another kick in him to get back to that point where he was a couple of years ago. I really do. And it may coincide with the fact that
58.
Simon Whitlock's career is starting to regress a little bit. Simon is here this weekend. He's number 14 seed.
Yeah.
But he has got a lot of money to defend in the coming months. So he's got to be really, really careful.
Yeah, you could actually argue as well that Anderson's most productive year was 2016 when he made the quarterfinals of 4 TV events, the European Championship, the UK Open, the World Series event in Sydney and the World Cup of Darts with Simon Whitlock.
60.
Gulf in the averages here though, around about 11 points or so.
It's a bit mystifying to me that Kevin Munch hasn't done more in the game, because he's got a lot of ability. He's been around the block a few times. He's been hanging around the tour for the best part of a decade.
But it's 0-9. It's that 0-9 statistic. Yeah. You can't. I mean, it must prey on his mind when he
100.
Woke up this morning and took to the stage as well. He just, I'm not saying he was a beaten man, but you just must think, when is it going to happen? He would have been hoping for a kinder draw, let's face it.
Yeah, in qualifying, I mean, he averaged 83 twice and he had 86. And he beat
80.
Manfred Bildale to get through in a 6-5. So he held some, some nerve and some poise to get through. But you've got to say that playing Kyle Anderson on the stage is a slightly different prospect.
94.
And he's looking good for getting his second leg. But you get the feeling that Kyle is just pacing himself a little bit here.
Yeah. May well be thinking about the forthcoming leg on throw.
64.
Because Munch has 6 darts from here. Double 8s and double 4, long way off that one. That's more like it. It is 5-2.
Kyle to throw first.
But this is where it counts for Kyle Anderson.
Yeah, plenty of opportunities to get this match wrapped up, but get the feeling that Kyle is just a little bit uncomfortable
30.
on the hockey right now. His rhythm has just been shot in the last 9 darts.
May get away with this one though, Anderson.
30.
To points like
30.
Sorry, Rob. It's points like this when your rhythm is gone, you just need to start from scratch. Take it nice and slowly. And we watched Mark Barilli earlier in the afternoon. He does that. He starts from scratch and he goes a little bit slower.
100.
He's clearly listening, Paul. He's clearly listened to every word of advice you just uttered there. He must have heard you, because that was exactly what you suggested. That's exactly what he had to do. Just forget about the first 3 darts. Start again from scratch.
I'm not taking any credit for that.
I think you should. I think you should go up to Kyle Anderson afterwards and
58.
make a point of referencing that to him.
I think Kyle plays his best stuff when he's just got that real beautiful rhythm going. It's not a conventional style by any means. But the one thing when he's playing his best is you could time him on a watch or a metronome. He's talking to those darts. He's telling them off. I wouldn't want to be those darts right now. You're supposed to do as you're told.
47.
Well, good thinking from the 2-3-3, because 2 single 19s and 25 leaves 170. So he's mentally very sharp.
Or if it goes better, you get 1-3-3, then you're down to a flat sum. But Anderson just about in pole position. He's got a bit of a cushion here. He's got certainly a much bigger and more stable cushion now as well.
123.
Yeah, lots of options with that third dart. Chose the bull. And now he's going to have to get to 63. That's a really good approach from Kevin.
Yeah, just applies a little bit of pressure. 50 away for Anderson. And he's now looking at tops for a place in the second round.
43.
And the champagne remains on ice for K.Anderson. Now then, Kevin, what have you got? Nothing.
He's probably thinking he should have gone the Rob Cross route there, the 6-18s and double 16.
20.
So take two for K.Anderson. This time on double 10. It's getting a little bit anxious for Kyle. But that will settle him down no end. And K.Anderson, for the first time since September of last year, wins on the European Tour stage. But for Kevin Munch, it is 0-10 in first round matches on the European Tour. And once again, the conqueror of Adrian Lewis at the World Championship in 2018 is left to wonder exactly when it will happen for him. 3 of the host nation qualifiers have fallen by the wayside in the afternoon session. Puls, Artut and now Munch, and it's Anderson who goes through to face Darrell Gurney in the second round tomorrow. That wraps up the afternoon play. Join us for the evening session from 7:15 here on PDC TV. Some belters in store. Beaton and Derry kicking things off, but we have Norris and Bunting in a repeat of their BDO final from 2014. We've got Ratajski and Schindler, Clements and Evans, and pick of the Schneehughes again. And more times to look forward to from 7:15. Stay with us here on PDC TV.
Die Super League könnte es klappen. Und K.Anderson wird auch froh sein, dass er das Match gewonnen hat. Kevin Munch! Congratulations, Kyle. Happy with the game, with the style you played?
Some part of it was good, some part was terrible. I mean, I know I can play better, but some shots were, let's say, too relaxed. I felt relaxed for the whole game, but some shots were too relaxed.
What's the plan for the weekend? Winning the whole thing?
It's always a plan, but doesn't come to fruition sometimes. So tonight, go sit back, watch some TV, sit in my room and just enjoy the night.
See you tomorrow, Kyle. Thank you very much. K.Anderson sagt, war fast ein bisschen zu relaxed so in dieser ganzen Partie. Und schaut mal, was an diesem Wochenende